Okay? So here we go. Philip, what you doing? Philip. Joseph James, what are you doing?
She just called me.
I know. I get things all mixed up in my head. Remember, I'm old and I've had tons of chemo, so I have an excuse. All right, number 1, here we go. Oh, this is an easy one. 3/4 squared. Everybody knows what that is. 9/16. When you square a fraction, you square the top and you square the bottom. So that's easy. Now, this one's a little harder. You have to remember something. What do you remember about a negative exponent, Paul? It flips it. So this becomes 4/3 to the second. So now we're going to square 4/3 and we get 16/9. Now, Joseph and Robbie, this is another example where we need to take advantage of this opportunity because tomorrow we have quiz, or the next time I see you we have a quiz. I want you paying attention to me, not to Joseph. I know he's funny or cute or whatever, but you need to pay attention to me. All right, number 8.
2016 then.
Number 8. 1/3 times 9 squared. Well, we square the 9, so that would be 1/3 times 81, right? 9 squared. And then you're going to take 1/3 of 81. Now, this will be a no calculator quiz, so be sure you know how to do that. That's 81 divided by 3, which is 27. Yep, the answer is 27.
What if you don't know the answer?
You need to work it out.
Wait, you said we
No calculator on this. No calculator. And I'll keep the numbers nice. I mean, I'm not going to ask you to take the cube root of, some 8-digit number. But you need to know the cube root of 8's too. Yeah. All right, what in the world is going on here?
So, do we break it down like number 5 and then multiply it by the 1/2?
If it would break down, Chris, I would, but nothing in here combines. That doesn't break down at all. Would you agree with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. If there were like X's on the top and X's on the bottom, I would want to put those together. But that's already simplified. What do I do with a 1/2 power? What's a 1/2 power mean? Square root. So I'm taking the square root of all of this. Now, certainly with the numbers, that's easy. The square root of 16 is 4, and the square root of 9 is 3. So that part's easy. Now, when it comes to these letters, it's a little bit tricky. Just think about it. What do you think the square root of 4 is? Or the square root of x to the 4th. I'm sorry, the square root of x to the 4th.
X squared.
X squared.
My dog.
What do you think the square root of y squared is? Y. Watch it now. What do you think the square root of z to the 6th is?
Z to the 3rd.
Z to the 3rd. Very good, Marlon Claiborne. Now, if you're confused by that, remember z to the 6th means 6 z's, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you take the square root, you want to find groups, 2 equal groups. So how many would be in each group? When you square root it, you get z to the 3rd.
Did you also do like how many groups of 2 can you find? Like I would circle like 2 z's, 2 z's, 2 z's.
Oh, okay, yeah, you could do that too. So there'd be 3 groups of 2.
That works better that
Yep.
way.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
All right, now number 10. What are you going to do with this one? This is kind of an old problem for us. We've done these before. What are you going to do with that?
Break it down. Break
You're
it down.
going to take
Break it down.
this
Break it down.
guy right here, and he's going to come down to the bottom. Why is he going to come down to the bottom?
He's negative.
Because it's negative. But look, you already have 1 down there. So if you bring 3 more down, you're going to have x to the 4th. All right, now look at the y's. I've got 2 y's over 10 y's. Some of them are going to cancel. Where are the leftovers gonna be?
No, no,
On the
no, no.
bottom, and how many leftovers will there be?
8.
8. So I'm gonna have y to the 8 on the bottom. Now what about the 4 and the 8 out here? What can I do with
Put a 1 on
those?
top and 2 on the bottom.
4 over 8 reduces to 1/2. There's the answer to the question.
Dog.
If you take it one step at a time, you can all do this. 2 to the negative 4th, okay? We gotta remember this is one of our new rules. 2 to the negative 4th, what is that? It's 1/2, we flip it, make it 1/2 to the 4th, and I heard somebody say 1/16. How did we get 1/16? 1 to the 4th is 1, and 2 to the 4th is 16. 10 to the 3 halves, or no, 100 to the 3 halves. All right, this is another one of our rules. What does a 3 halves mean?
Square root of
Square
cube.
root. Remember, when you have a fractional exponent, the denominator tells you the root. So this is a square root and then cube. What is the square root of 100? 10. And 10 cubed, you can pay attention, 10 cubed is 10, 10, 10, which is 1,000. All right, what about 8 to the negative 2/3?
Flip it, 1/8.
8 to the negative 2/3 is going to be 1 over 8 to the 2/3. Because what does a negative exponent do? Flip you. So instead of 8 over 1, we have 1 over 8. Now, what does a fractional exponent tell us? The root. So we're going to take the third, the cube root of 1/8, and then we'll square it. What's the cube root of 1/8? 1/2. Don't get carried away and say 2. It's 1 over 2. And then when you square that, you get 1/4. Perfect. Beautiful. All right, next column, 14. Do I do any flipping on number 14? No, because I only flip if what? The exponent is negative. Now, the exponent isn't negative, but it is a fraction, which tells me I'm going to have a root. Which root am I going to have? The 4th root of 1681, and then I'll cube that. These are the numbers you have to have memorized. What's the 4th root of 16?
2/3.
Well, the 4th root of 16 is 2, and the 4th root of 81 is 3. And now you gotta remember to cube that. So 2 cubed, 8, and 3 cubed, 27. So your answer is 8 over 27. There's a lot of steps there. Did you follow all that? (81 to the negative 3 halves). Okay, wait a second. Negative, negative. That should pop out at you.
Flip it.
Flip it.
Pop it.
So 1 over 81. 1 over 81 to the 3 halves. Chrissy. One over 81 to the 3 halves. What does the 3 halves mean? Square root. So we're going to take the square root of 181, and then we'll cube that. All right, so what's the square root of 1 over 81? 1/9. Uh-oh, we're going to cube that. Ooh, this is a big number. 1 over, some of you have already done it, 729. How do I get 9 cubed? I do 9 times 9 times 9. I don't expect you to have that memorized, so you might have to work that over to the side. 9 times 9 times 9.
House party. My house party it was in my lap and it like.
Why was your phone in your lap?
Because I keep it there. I don't like it in my pocket.
Okay, well, it should be in your backpack.
Okay. Yeah.
And it should be completely turned off.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Was it even that? Is that in the kitchen? You don't have to play once. I know, but I don't want to come as a kitchen. I'll bring like 8 Kleenex boxes.
Chrissy, you got to keep your phone in your backpack turned off. Or better yet, leave it in your car. What do you need a phone for?
If a shooter comes.
Whoa, whoa.
Come on, Noodles.
Come on, Eaton.
Alright, here we go. Alright, this is a big one, but I think it's manageable for you. What do you notice when you look at it?
That you can break down the X's and Y's.
Okay, okay, look here. See how that's negative?
Yep,
So that's gonna come down, right?
I agree.
So 3 of them are coming down, but you already have 2 down there. So you're gonna have X to the 5th in the bottom. Would everyone agree with that?
Yes.
So I'm doing it one step at a time. I'm not getting overwhelmed and I'm not getting anxious. One at a time. Now, oh my goodness. This one's negative, so he's gonna go to the top.
But wait.
But wait, that one's negative, so he's gonna come down. So on the top, I'll have 6, and on the bottom, I'll have 4. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So what's gonna happen when you start canceling? You're gonna have 2 left over. And they will be where? On top. So I'm gonna have y squared on the top.
What happens to 200, 300?
Well, nothing's happened to the 200 and 300 yet. I'm gonna have to reduce those. And they're clearly both divisible by 100. So I'll have 2 over 3. It's 3/5 times 10 squared. We did one like this already. 3/5 times 10 squared. That squared goes only with the 10, so let's do that part first. What's 10 squared? 100. So we have 3/5 times 100. 3/5 times 100. What is that? 3/5 times 100 over 1 is 300 divided by 5. You said 60. You were right. How about the next one? 3/5 times 10 to the negative 2nd. That gets flipped. Does the 3/5 get flipped? No. Only the 10 gets flipped.
Wait, why did you flip the 10?
Because it has a negative exponent. We're
Oh.
on problem 18.
Oh, I was looking at 17.
We already did it. Now, what is 1/10 squared? 1/100. So the answer to this one is 3, I got the hiccup, sorry, 3 over 500. All right. Aye. What do we do? Flip it. We flip it to 16. Do we flip the 3 halves? Oh, no, never. You never flip the exponent. It becomes positive, though, after you do the flip. Now, what does that mean? Square root of 16 cubed. Well, the square root of 16 is 4, and 4 cubed is 64. 27 to the negative 2/3.
I feel you never write the 2. I don't understand.
When you write a square root, you don't. You can if you want, but you don't. If you look at the button on your calculator, it doesn't have a 2 in it. The square root, you just don't write it. 27 to the negative 2/3. What's our, first we flip it, so 1/27. And why am I flipping it?
Because it was negative.
Because it's a negative. What does this mean?
Oh, cube root.
The cube root of 1/27, and we're going to square it. So the cube root of 1/27 is 1/3, and 1/3 squared is 1/9. Oh, the next one's the same thing, only it's 27 to the 2/3. That means the cube root of 27 squared, so 3 squared or 9. Everybody follow that?
Yep.
Is an easier version. All right, 22. All right, what do you think about this one?
I said we go ahead and break down those x's.
Distribute that 2 through everything.
All right, I heard 2 different ideas and they're both fine.
I love the collaboration.
One idea was simplifying here. See how you have x's over x's and y's over y's? So we could simplify that. Another idea was, let's distribute that 2 to everything. In other words, let's square everything. Both of those are fine. It doesn't matter. Now, since I'm going to do the problem one time, I'm going to go ahead and simplify first and then square. But if you do it the other way, we'll get the same answer. The answer will end up being the same. If I simplify first, 5 and 2 don't reduce. What happens here with my x's? 1x on the top. And what happens with the y's?
4 y's on the bottom.
4 y's on the bottom. Now you're not done, you still have to square. And we're going to square everything. So what do we get? 25x squared, right? Over
4 y's.
4y to the
16.
8. If you do y to the 4th squared, it means 2y to the 4th. How many y's is that all together? Y to the 8th.
I got you.
That's, you don't square the exponent, you multiply them.
So you only square the numbers.
No, y to the 4th squared means y to the 4th times y to the 4th, right? When I square something, it means I multiply it by itself. That's what squaring means. So y to the 4th squared means y to the 4th times y to the 4th. And that's y times y. How many y's are there? 8. So I don't know, where's your confusion, Paul? Help
You
me.
don't
Help me.
square the exponent.
Yeah.
Multiply them. Is what the confusion is. They think that you
No.
I mean, I know that, but.
No, Mrs. Ford, like we were saying that last year we learned if it's outside of parentheses like that, like you would square it, like 4 times 4 is something like that's what we learned.
Yeah.
You didn't learn that last year, because that would be wrong. You didn't learn that last year, that would be wrong. I absolutely promise you that's not what you learned. Now, that may be what you did, but it wasn't right, okay? We never like square exponents. We multiply them, we add them, we subtract them, but we never square them. Okay? Now wait, nobody goes anywhere until I get all my calculators back.
That's right.
So I need 3 from you 3. All right, now tomorrow before we take the quiz, I need a calculator from Bailey and Austin. before we take the quiz tomorrow, we will finish the sheet. You should be able to do all of the 3, 1, 3, 2 homework. All the 3, 1, 3, 2 homework.
Okay. Two more.
Okay, I need to get it.
Oh yeah, bro. You can do
Quincy,
what I'm saying.
you had your phone in your lap.
We just came back from lunch.
And you know what? It should not have been in your lap.
I had it in my pocket.
It was obviously turned off.
I don't have a password, so it slides open.